Hey, this is Aaron.
Today we're going to show you how to install a 10-speed kit on a Super 73. This is an RX Mojave. It's currently just single speed. So we've got the 10-speed kit from Super 73 that was brought to us from a customer. And yeah, we're gonna go ahead and put that on this bike. And we'll give you a step-by-step as we're doing it. As always, comment any questions below the video. Thanks, guys. This is a crank here. Use a 15mm wrench. This is a pedal specific wrench, but any 15mm wrench will work. Hook it onto here. Usually hold the back brake. Well, you don't want to tighten it, so don't hold the back brake. Let's see, there we go. And yeah, both sides. So, all right, now that we got the pedals off, we're gonna get the chain off the bike. So to get the chain off, remove tension by lifting up on the chain tensioner here, and you can just drop the chain off there. From there, you're gonna locate the master link on this bike. It's here. Master link pliers are gonna be your best friend taking the master off of these bikes here. So I wouldn't really try to do it without master link pliers. And there goes that. Boom. And now your chain is off. And we'll move on to the next step. All right, guys. Now we're going to remove your chain tensioner, 5mm Allen wrench. We've got the Park Tool T wrenches here. They work really nice. So let's get that off of there. Move it out of the way. Super quick and easy. Boom. Set that up here. Now we're gonna grab our 8mm. Again, we're using the T wrenches here. And then we're gonna remove our crank. So just pop that like that. There's that. And we'll do the same thing for the other side. And then we're gonna move on to the crank puller. All right, now we're going to remove the cranks on either side. We have to take the bottom bracket out of the bike to put some spacers in that were supplied by Super 73 in the kit. So you're gonna need to use a crank puller removal tool or a crank removal tool. Thread that guy into here, like so. Make sure it gets, almost all the way in there, and then thread this one in until it's touching. Ours is a 17mm, so once you get it on there, you're gonna have to crank on it a little bit. A few good cranks, and then your crank will pull right off. Pull that out, and we're gonna repeat that on the other side. We don't need to film both sides, I don't think, All right, now we're going to remove the pedal sensor. This is on the non-drive side of the bike, so same side as your brake. We're gonna pop this guy off, and then we're gonna get the bottom bracket out after that. So you just use a little flathead screwdriver, and we pop behind here, and just be gentle. You don't wanna break the plastic. There's an O-ring holding this in place, so it is gonna give you a little bit of resistance, but not too much. You can see it's coming off. And once you get it, halfway off, you can usually grab it with your fingers and pull it the rest of the way. Again, just be careful with it. You don't want to break it. Yeah, it's fighting me a little bit, but you can see it's starting to go. That O-ring again is just tight. So this is the O-ring I'm talking about. Oh. And that's gonna sit right in here. So make sure when you're putting it back on that O-ring is seated all in there. From here, we just have to get the bottom bracket off. All right, guys, we're going to take off the bottom bracket now here. We have to put some spacers in there that are in the kit, supplied by Super 73. To do that, we've got a special bottom bracket removal tool here. This particular one is the Bike Hand YC26BB. All right, so we just got it on our 1/2-inch driver here. And we're just gonna get it into there and crank on it. Super easy. See, it's coming out.
So here is the Super 73 10-speed kit. Kind of opened up. This layer was on top of this layer. On this side right here, we have your new derailleur, your shifter, your shift cable housing, and obviously that's your shift cable attached to your shifter. Over here is your new 10-speed cassette. Inside here is your drive side crank and your non-side drive crank, as well as a new chain. It's important to replace the chain with the chain they provide, otherwise it won't fit. Coming along over here, here are the spacers Anthony was talking about for the bottom bracket. These were also in the kit. We just went ahead and pulled them out. So this is going to be on the bottom bracket. This is going to be another spacer on the other side of the bottom bracket. And this spacer is going to be on the cassette. Over here is the bottom bracket that Anthony just removed from the bike. He cleaned it up. It did have a little bit of dirt on there. So make sure that when you are reinstalling the bottom bracket in all parts, in any parts, everything is free of dirt, grime, and anything that requires grease gets greased.
All right, guys, we're going to go ahead and put the bottom bracket back on the bike. These two spacers here are the two that we're going to be using for the bottom bracket. So the first one is going to slide all the way on, just like so. It's going to sit right there. And then the second one goes in the other cup here. So that just pops in there, like so. And then we'll reinstall the bottom bracket. Go ahead and put some grease on the bottom bracket here prior to reinstalling.
Oh yeah. 2.
All right, guys, we're going to reinstall. This is the non-drive side cup of the bearing bottom bracket. You can see we've got that spacer in there, a little bit of grease just to kind of hold it in place. Obviously, it's going to be metal on metal. The bearing does contact here, so anytime metal on metal, you want a little bit of grease in there. Just to make it a little easier, you can cut your fingers on these threads. So I usually just pop it on the tool there and just thread it in. Super easy. It should glide really smooth. If it's getting hung up at all, take it out. Make sure you're not cross-threading. Also, make sure there's no dirt and grime in those threads either. Usually just get it flush with the that'll mount there. All right, guys. Now we're gonna get the bottom bracket installed on the drive side. Again, that spacer supplied by Super73, something very outside. And we're gonna put it in. Easiest way to do it, put your tool on there and thread it on. And you want to make sure when you are putting it on that spacer is bottomed out. Everything is tight. And yeah, you can crank on it from there. Oh, wrong way. All right, bottom bracket's reinstalled. All right, guys, the Super 73 10-speed kit does come with a new crank set. So this one's a 44 tooth versus your stock crank was a 36 tooth. So you're going up 8 teeth on this one. Square taper here, so just go ahead and pop it on. Doesn't really matter which orientation you put the first one on. So go ahead and put that on there. Let's see, put a tiny bit of grease on the bolt. Just a tiny bit, you don't want those to seize. And then get that started here. It's the 8 mil. We're reusing the bolts that were on the bike previously. Looks like this bolt may have seen better days. Might want to replace that. So you can see, obviously this one's weighted now. It's got the crank arm facing down. You want this crank arm facing up. So, you know, pedals will work as they should there. And we'll just go ahead and pop this guy on.
Whatever you do, don't make sure both cranks are facing up.
Remove the rear wheel next. So start by clipping these zip ties that hold the motor power wire in place. There's 3 of them on this bike. Some bikes might have 2. Some bikes might have 4, who knows, but this one's got 3. So go ahead and do that, and then you're gonna get the threads on the plug undone, like that, boom, fully unplugged. From there, we're going to remove the brake caliper, like you do on any Super 73 that's got the dropout plates here. So we're gonna take that off next. All right, guys, before you remove the rear wheel, while these bolts are still in, the bolts are holding the dropout in place, are still in, you do want to loosen this nut because you're going to have to take off all of this stuff. And if you take off the wheel before loosening this, it's kind of a pain to get this loose because it just wants to spin on you. So go ahead and get this one loose. Don't take it all the way off, just get it loose like that so you can take it off once you have the wheel off. All right, we're just gonna take these bolts off the rear here. Just be careful. Sometimes they're really tight. These ones are actually pretty tight. You don't want to strip them. We've done that before. It's no fun to remove that bolt if it has stripped. So be cautious of that. All right, guys, we're gonna pull the wheel off now. It should come off very easily. If you've got everything else done, like we showed you, like you've seen in prior videos, we like to use that 5-gallon bucket, which is a great table. And then with that nut loose, just gonna take that fully off. All right, stop recording. All right, now we've got the wheel off, got that nut on, axle nut. Now you're gonna wanna take this dropout plate off. So just slide that off. If it's giving you trouble, just be patient with it. You may need to twist it a little bit to get it off of there. Then there's one spacer that's hiding behind here that we're gonna need to get off. So just let that guy fall out of place. There it is. And then from there, we wanna get the this stock single speed cog off. So for that, we're gonna use, we have a special tool. So we're using the, Park Tool FR 5.2, coupled with just a socket there that it fits in. So from here, you're gonna also need a chain whip. That's chain whip. And that's gonna hold the cog in place so it doesn't spin when you're trying to remove it. So let's see if we can get this going here. There it is. Not too hard. Just a little bit of strength and you should be able to get that off.
Anthony is a trained professional.
All right, guys. Now we got the this guy that holds everything in place off. Pull these off, and then that's what that mount's gonna look like there. Set all the other stuff to the side. You're not gonna need that anymore. Now we're gonna jump up and grab the aftermarket cassette. Cassette, or whatever it is, the mount there. And then, I mean, I usually just kind of fiddle with this guy, just kind of twist it until it finds the space or the right way to go on. I just had it lined up. There we go. And then from there, just be careful when you're taking this off the cassette because it is a few pieces. So 3 pieces it looks like. And find that smaller groove and line it up. Just like that. And then find the small one on these ones. Got these ones too. And they'll go right into place. Boom and boom. Like that. And then this guy is gonna hold them all together. Make sure this is a soft metal, so when you are putting this on, just be cautious of that and don't cross thread anything. So just go nice and slow with it. Alright, once you get it like that, that'll be good. All right, guys, super important when you're putting this back together, before you put that dropout plate back on, make sure you put that nice thick washer back on here. If you don't do that, nothing will line up. Your wheel probably won't even spin when you put it all back together. Yeah, that's good. All right, now we've got that spacer on. We're gonna put the dropout plate back on. When you're putting this back on, I usually just have the wheel oriented. So obviously this is facing down, you know, that faces up on the bike. Your brake mount's on here. So we'll just turn it around and I will slide that guy on, put your washer on, and get that nut threaded back on. You just get it finger tight until we get it back on the bike. All right, guys, we're gonna slide the wheel back onto the dropouts here. Might be a little bit difficult. We'll see how that goes. From there, we're going to reinstall the chain, and we're going to put the shifter on, route the shift cable back to the derailleur, and make sure everything is indexed and shifted as it should. So this could be a pain. We'll see how it goes here. Obviously, with the third hand right there, Aaron. It's out a little bit. And then, let's see. Right here, we're going to get the derailleur mounted up here. So, one thing to keep in mind on the derailleur, there's this little tab here, a little piece, and on the derailleur hanger, there's also like a little lip. So when you mount this, you want to make sure that tab is mounted behind that lip. And that's going to make sure the derailleur holds tension like it's supposed to. So just get that on there. Like that. We're good to go there. And now we're going to put the shifter on. All right, guys. Next, we're going to install the shifter. To do that, we're going to get started by removing the grip. So to remove the grip, it's a 2.5 millimeter Allen wrench. So just get that loosened up there. Slide the grip off. Boom. Set that to the side. From there, we got to do the brake. So we'll just hit that with the 4 mil. And the easiest way to do this is just take this seat clamp all the way off. That's what I'm gonna do. Instead of trying to slide it off the bars, there's not enough room on the cable to do that. So we're just gonna remove the whole clamp. All right, there's that. And then we're gonna get the throttle, which is the 3. Just look for that hole in the bottom of the throttle there and get that unscrewed. You might just want to unplug this one, just like that, and pull it all the way off the handlebars. Now I've got a clean bar there. All right, guys, now we're going to mount the shifter on the handlebars here. We've removed the grip, brake, and throttle. So this is going to be the most inside control, I guess what you could say, on the bars. So we're just going to tighten it up. Again, we're just mocking this up here. We're going to, you know, fine tune everything on the handlebars once we get it on there, like the throttle, things like that. Make sure it's shifting without hitting the throttle and vice versa. So from here, we're going to route the shift cable through the frame. So let's undo it here. All right, guys, so you're gonna take your shift cable housing, shift cable, route that through. It'll come out the other side of the shift cable there, or the housing, like so. And then we're gonna mount, or we're gonna thread it through here. So we're gonna go through the left side of the stanchion, or the fork, where all of your other cables and wires are. And then we're gonna come through the, like under your little skid plate here. Bring that all the way down. And then from there, we're gonna go to the drive side of the bike. And we're gonna run that. There's a couple little zip tie connections under there that will eventually zip tie. But we're gonna come back here, grab it, and it's gonna go. Let's see, make sure, come up like this, under the swing arm, and then we're gonna put it in the housing there on the derailleur. So now we are, we're in the mock-up phase here. We're gonna mock the shift cable here, make sure we've got enough length. We don't want too much length at the end there. So there are these little tabs under the frame that you can run the zip ties through. So we're just gonna do that for the cable, get it routed, and then from there we will we'll check the length at the end. And if we need to trim it, we will trim it, and we'll show you that. After this, we're gonna get the chain on, and we're gonna make sure that everything shifts as it should. All right, next step we're doing is we're gonna trim the shift cable housing. So make sure you remove the shift cable. So we've got that fully removed from the housing now. So if you can see here, if we mock it up, it's a bit long, right? So I say, let's try to get it a little more streamlined, a little bit nicer looking there. So I'd say that looks pretty good. So just hold it right here, and we've got these nice Park tool cutters that we're gonna use, and that's gonna cut it really nice. And now we can put our little ferrule on the end and insert it back into there, and just run the shift cable through. And yeah, from there we will index the derailleur and install the chain. Sick. We got the cable, shift cable through the shift housing, through the mount on the derailleur. And now you can see there's this little notch here. So it's slip the cable through that. Oh, well, don't let it come out of there. Let's tighten this guy just a little bit so it doesn't do that. And then just like so. You want to get it, tight. You don't want to leave it loose. This is how the bike is going to shift. And all right, there's that. And we'll put the chain on next and see how it's shipping. All right, next step we're doing is going to install the chain. We've got the chain mocked up here. We just we did check the size. To check the size, you're gonna put it on the front chainring, put it on the biggest chainring on the rear. Skip going around the derailleur, and then line them up. There should be about an inch or so. So in this case here, this is what we're looking like. It's very close. The master link there will close that up. So I'd say we do not need to cut this chain as of now. We're gonna get it all installed on the derailleur. Make sure it's shifting right, not too much sag, and go from there. So let's get it routed through the derailleur real quick. So the easiest way to do that is you're gonna go on top of the first jockey wheel of the derailleur, and then you're gonna come through the bottom like this. And then right through here. Like so. Now you got that on there. And then we just need to close it up. So to close it up, keep some tension off of it. I'm just gonna take it off the front chainring. That way I have a little bit of slack here. And we can open up the master link that's supplied by Super73. hopefully. Boom, just like that. To put it on, again, we've got the chain off of the front chain ring there just to give us some more slack. We're gonna put one piece in here, one piece in there like that. Bring them up to each other. And they're gonna lock into place, hopefully, if you can get it right. Let's see. There it is. Oh. A little bit of a chore there, but there it is. Usually you can pull it, but if you can't pull it tight, get your pliers and hit it like this. Boom. You'll feel it click into place. You can relieve the tension on your derailleur now and get the chain onto the front chain ring like so. And make sure everything back here is lining up like it should. And we'll shift to the gears next. All right, guys, we're gonna reinstall the drive side pedal here. We're just gonna show you that one. We're obviously gonna reinstall the non-drive side after. Okay, we're gonna install the pedal now so we can get this thing indexed. So put a little grease on the threads of the pedal there, get it started. Grab your 15, and then I just hold the 15 in place and back pedal. And that's a really good way to get the pedal on without too much work. And then you can actually, well, you can't hold the brake because it's not mounted right now, but you would be able to hold the brake and crank on that pretty easily. All right, from there we're going to shift through the gears and make sure everything is working. Our wall mount here, our wall stand, we did this because that stand that we were using was pinching the shift cable, so we weren't able to shift the bike correctly. So once we got everything mounted up, we were able to get the bike shifting. So it was not shifting into the top gear here, and it wasn't shifting into the lower gear here. So what we did was, if you come down here to the limit screws, the bottom screw is going to adjust the top 5 gears, and the top screw is going to adjust the bottom 5 gears. You can actually watch the cage of the derailleur move to get it lined up, you know, with the crank up front and with the derailleur. Yeah, just keep an eye on that. Make sure it's shifting. Getting close to the end of the installation here. We've got the bike shifting as it should now. Now we're just gonna finish up installing the controls. So we took the throttle off the bike, so we're gonna put that back on. We're just gonna leave that loose for now. We're also gonna mount the brake back up here. So let's just get that mocked up. All right, oh, make sure you give yourself enough room here. So let me just loosen up this guy. We'll slide the shifter out of the way for a minute, get the throttle out of the way, the brake mounted up. It's a 4mm Allen wrench to use, that you're gonna use for the brake.
What's up, Tucker? Hey. Here we go.
All right, guys, we're just getting everything mounted up here. So we've got the grip mounted, brake, throttle, shifter. One thing to keep in mind here is when you are mounting this stuff, you know, you want to hit your throttle, but you don't want to shift the bike. So just make sure when you are, you know, putting all your controls back on that you do have enough room, you know, so you can hit the throttle and not shift the bike. We also want to be able to, you know, hit the shifter too. So gets a little bit crowded with this, you know, with this kit, but it is still manageable. You just got to kind of play with the controls a little bit, get it to where you like it. Just make sure it's not shifting when you're hitting the throttle. After that, this thing will be good to go. All right, we're wrapping up here, guys. So we just got the bike on the stand, just kind of show you it's shifting. But you want to look at the controls real quick. We've got those all set up here, so they're not in the way. So we'll just pedal the bike and go through each gear. All right. Good to go. If you have any questions, go ahead and comment on our, in the comment section below. Please subscribe, and yeah, have a good day. Thanks.
it.